In this video, I'm going to be answering my most frequently asked questions about the RICOH GR3X. And no, one of the questions isn't about this wrist strap, which I took from my old Nintendo Wii console. It's not worked too bad, actually. Okay, so I've done this with my X Pro 3, and I've done this with the XH2S. And if you're interested in those two cameras, I'm sure you can find that on my channel. But today we're going to be talking about the RICOH GR3X, not to be mistaken with the GR3, which leads us perfectly into my first question. What are the key differences between the RICOH GR3 and the GR3X? Okay, so there is only really one main difference, and that is the focal length. On the X, you get a 40mm equivalent lens. On the original GR3, it's a wider 28mm. So at the end of the day, it just comes down to preference. Now, I watched a fair few videos on which one I should buy, and it was actually one of James Popsy's video that actually convinced me that it was the X for me. So do your research. You might be interested in a wider focal length, and that's fine. This video is still probably for you because they're basically the same camera. There is only one difference, and that is focal length. God, I am getting old with my glasses. What presets / film simulations come with the RICOH GR3X? Okay, so the presets that are already in camera with the GR3X are standard, vivid, monotone, soft monotone, hard monotone, high contrast black and white, positive film, bleach bypass, retro, HDR tone, and cross processing. As you can see through those photos, you get a wide variety of choice. However, my preference is to develop it myself. Just like in the Fujifilm camera, I like to produce my own recipes in camera. And you can do that by having a look at this video. I'm not going to explain it here because it will take far too much time, but deeper dive, go check that out. The presets are interesting, but the only presets I've shot with really are standard, monotone, and positive film. They're not quite there as much as the Fujifilm film simulations, but they're worth a play and something you can develop with those recipes. So go check them out. They're really fun and interesting to play with. Okay, next question is, this one's for you. If you have a second, would you mind subscribing to the channel? It really does help. It means I can make more of these videos and provide more information for you guys. So thank you in advance, and here's the real next question. Is the GR3X really that good for street photography? Okay, so in short, yes, I think this is one of the best street photography cameras out there. The reason I think that this camera is so good for street photography, and I have talked about it a ton on my channel, it's because you don't come across as a photographer. You actually come across more of a tourist, and it breaks down this barrier for you to take more photos, get more intimate, be more personal. I have found that I've been able to get more shots than I would if I had my Fuji camera. It just feels like I'm not intruding in someone's life. I'm not intruding in any particular way that's going to disturb the piece, because that's not what I want to do at all. I just want to, if I find an interesting shot, all I want to do is take that photo. And this allows me to do that because the image quality is absolutely outstanding for the size of it. How they got this sensor in this body still baffles me, but it produces quality time after time. And for street photography, I actually think this is the camera that does it best. I think it's a perfect digital point and shoot, and I keep it on me all the time, and I recommend it to anyone I meet who's interested in photography, but particularly street photography. The only thing I'm gonna say is it just comes down to focal length. If you want a slightly tighter focal length, the X is for you, but if you want something wider, then go with the original GR3. I think it really depends on your location and surroundings, but if you've got the money, get both. How good is the image stabilization in the GR3X? The IS in this camera is stunning. It's so good. You can shoot up to 1/10 of a second with this thing with particularly steady hands. I've read and I've seen online that people have honestly said that they have shaky hands, and that this camera has been able to do the job perfectly for them. Eliminate all of that motion and get crystal clear images. And I can attest to that too. Having traveled with this over the past 6 months all around Asia, I've been able to get some really interesting shots while on the move, just kind of here, there, and everywhere. It really has impressed me, the IS, and I think it's a big selling point and feature to this camera. By the way, all the photos in this video are graded with my travel bag. I've been using this preset pack for the last 6 months and it's completely sped up my workflow. If you're interested, you can head over to my website where you can now get them half price. Can the GR3X shoot in 4K? How is the video performance? Okay, no, this doesn't shoot in 4K. This is not a video camera. It does take video, but there are no headphone jacks, no HDMI, none of that. This is not a X100VI. This is for photographers, in my opinion. I've never shot actually any video with this camera. If you would like me to, I can. Write it in the comments. I'm sure we can do something. But I really would oppose any hybrid shooter thinking that this is going to do 2 jobs. That is why I made a video recently about this camera alongside with the Osmo Pocket 3. So if you're looking for video, it is not in this camera. Do not buy for that feature because it's not there. Like I said, the IS is good, but it's the quality that you're looking for is not in it. You need to be looking probably, like I said, with the X100VI or maybe something like the XS20. I had that camera, really great camera. That's more of a hybrid person's camera. How does the GR3X handle in low light conditions? Now, some say that the GR3X's sensor is a little noisy when shooting in low light, and I can attest to that. It's not great. We do, as I've said, have great image stabilization, and that does help to a degree, but you need to be shooting in a brightly lit, low lit situation. Does that make sense? So if you are in downtown Tokyo, for example, where there are loads of neon lights, I think you'd be fine. But in very low lit conditions, I have found this to be not the best. It's got a great sensor under that hood, but it's got its boundaries, it's got its ceiling. And I think in low light conditions, it's probably not the best. However, a couple of my friends do have a flash for this, and that would be the workaround. If you want to shoot at night, do some street photography, here's my friend actually using it here, taking a picture of me with the flash, with the RICOH. We were in downtown Shinjuku in Tokyo and worked perfectly for him. So that would be the workaround if you're interested in shooting in low light scenes. Is the RICOH GR3X worth it for beginners, or is it just for professionals? Okay, this is a good question because I get this one a lot. Now, of course, this is a pricey bit of kit. This is quite an expensive camera, particularly for its size and, dare I say, just a digital point and shoot. However, if you are an amateur photographer and you appreciate fantastic image quality and it's something you want to guide yourself into a bit more, then I think you can definitely get away with it. If you've got the money, why not? But I'm not here to convince you to buy gear that is going to make your photography better. Your phone will do just as good a job. So in essence, I know I'm not really answering the question. Professionals are going to love this. This is basically who I spoke to already about this camera. They want a pocketable digital point and shoot that can take fantastic images on the go that doesn't encumber their work. That's what that does. Let's side that there. When I talk about it with beginners, it's not an entry-level camera because I don't think it's going to teach you enough about photography. Having said that, if you're not interested in learning about photography and you just want to take great images, have great image quality, I think you can get away with it. Look, I'm not going to stop anyone, like I said, but it's really your choice. It's a very hard question. It's a good question, which sadly I don't have a kind of full answer for you. It's definitely dependent. If you have a particular situation yourself, write it in the comment. I'll try to reply. Or I know many of you out there who are much smarter and cleverer than me will be able to do a better job in answering it. Okay, next question. How is the battery life in the GR3X? So the battery life in this thing has around 200 shots per charge, which some say is modest, but others say is a little spare. The workaround is obviously get yourself some extra batteries, or you can get yourself a small, powerful power bank, which is what I do. So yeah, battery life is okay, but look, this thing is tiny. You're not gonna be shooting with this all day without it running out. So get some batteries, get a power bank, you'll be fine. Does the RICOH GR3X have any weather sealing or rugged features? No, this is not weather sealed. I've shot in very light drizzle, but to be honest, I wouldn't risk it for too long. I don't use this for video at all, so I have taped up all the sound holes, which you can see here. I know dust gets in through the on-off button, so what you want to do is just manage the amount of dust that gets onto your sensor. So block up as many holes you can find that you don't use on this thing. Hopefully you should be fine. I hear it's very difficult to clean your sensor once you get dust on it, so once that happens, it is a bit. So yeah, be careful with this. It's obviously not the most rugged or durable camera. I'm sure if I dropped this on the ground, it would smash or dent or any of those things. So yeah, be careful with this. It's a delicate little thing. What is your favorite feature about the GR3X? I mean, do I have to pick one? I mean, there's so many things about this camera that I love. The size and the pocketability is just glorious. The image quality is fantastic. I'm always blown away by what I'm capturing. The image stabilization, as I said, is spot on, and it has a built-in ND filter, which has only just reached the Fuji X100VI. So this camera's a little bit ahead of its time in that regard. Okay, and the last question is, what are some of the things I don't like about this camera, and what would I like changed or improved upon? Obviously, we spoke about the weather sealing. I'd love it to be a bit more weather sealed, a bit more dust proof. I'm not too concerned about battery life, but that would be, again, improvements on that would always be appreciated. I'm not really interested in video quality for this, so if they were to improve it, that would be nice, but I guess that would make it bigger, so I'm not really interested in video. It would be nicer if I could shoot in low light, and yeah, maybe the ergonomics. Some of the buttons feel a bit kind of toy-like. They could be improved upon. But really, I am splitting hairs. I think that this is a fantastic camera, a fantastic travel companion, and one that I will happily shoot with for the next few years. I'd be very interested to see what a GR4 looks like, but how do you improve upon something like this? More megapixels, more video capabilities? Weather sealing honestly would be lovely. I don't really need some of those features. I've spoke about this about the X100VI. That's why I'm not probably going to get that camera. It's because I don't need 422 10-bit video capabilities. I'm a photographer. I want photo capabilities. I want ergonomics. I want weather sealing. I want to be able to shoot for longer. Those are the things that I want out of my gear. If we're talking about video qualities and things like that, then that's a different conversation for me. So for a digital point and shoot, I just want to take photos. So yeah, I hope I have answered some of your questions that you have thrown at me. These are all DMs that I have got over the past year. If you have any questions yourself that you want answered, write them in the comments. If not me, someone out there will hopefully answer, because there are some very clever people who follow this channel, which I'm very grateful for, who have always picked up the slack where I have left. So I'm eternally grateful to you guys who definitely are more in the know than me. I hope that this has been somewhat informative and that you can buy this camera with confidence if you do so. I have linked it in the description if you want to find it quickly. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.